In this final part, I want to just recap some of the evidence of the Big Bang and then answer some of the common questions that I've gotten about this and talk about some of the philosophical ramifications of the Big Bang. So let's go over the evidence. First off, Hubble's Law and the expansion of the universe. This was one of the first tools that led us to even predict the existence of the Big Bang. One question that constantly gets thrown out there is, how did people figure out the Big Bang occurred? And the answer is, they looked at the facts. Right? Hubble was trying to answer a question of how big the universe is. Hubble was trying to figure out if these nebulae were a part of the Milky Way or outside, even further away. And by using tricks like Henry Levita's Cepheid variable techniques, Hubble was able to show that these galaxies exist not only way outside the Milky Way, but were retreating away, moving away from us. And people were able to logically follow that and say, hey, if these things are going away from us, they had to be coming towards us. They had to be coming from the same point at some point in history. So people looked at Hubble's law and the expansions of the universe, and they say, play that movie backwards to get the Big Bang. Another one is this cosmic microwave background. I cannot emphasize enough how important this is to understanding that the Big Bang happened and the consequences of the Big Bang. How matter is distributed through the cosmos and what patterns do we see. This thing was first predicted purely theoretically back in the 1950s, and it was only a decade or two later, 1964, when it was finally detected. So remember that these are the photons from the very beginning of the universe, the very start of the universe, that after that era of recombination were able to escape. And although the beginning of the universe was very, very hot, they've cooled off over the eons because of that galactic shift, the galactic redshift that's literally stretched out space-time. So those hot photons have been stretched down to the microwave range. And that's why we call it the cosmic microwave background. It is omnipresent. These photons are present everywhere in the universe. It does not matter where I aim, I will detect these. Another thing that supports the evidence of the Big Bang is what's called nucleosynthesis. Basically, you say is make a model of all the energy in the universe compact in a singularity, let it burst forth, and try and calculate how many protons, how many helium atoms, deuterium, lithium, how many of these elements would you expect to observe in the cosmos from a Big Bang? And it turns out that our calculations from models completely agree with the amount of material that we do see in the cosmos. And so we have a model that came from looking at the galaxies moving away from us. Well, that became a tool for us to predict more things about the universe. And we say, all right, use this tool. I'm going to predict how much helium-4 atoms I should see in the cosmos. How much deuterium should I see? And so we use that to predict. And then we look at the cosmos and we find that our predictions match the observations of what we measure and record. So that's another tool in the bag of, yes, the Big Bang did happen. We have evidence that keeps supporting it, and it keeps helping us find new information. That's a crucial thing about exploring the universe, is that it's not enough to just have this model, an idea. You have to be able to use it as a tool to predict what you're going to observe. And the last one I'll talk about, this is more of a repetition of a previous section. It's galactic evolution. We see what the distribution of these galactic filaments and sheets are through the cosmos. And we do simulations. And these simulations are based off models derived from the Big Bang. And we see this corresponds again, that by using this model to understand the universe, we can better predict what we observe in the universe. So there is more out there to talk about this, but I'll cut it off here and say these are the major reasons that we understand that, yes, the Big Bang did occur. So now let me take a little moment and just answer some of the common questions that I've gotten over the past. And the first one, what came before the Big Bang? What was before the Big Bang? And I have a very unsatisfying answer for you. It's that your question is meaningless. And I'm not trying to be mean or derogatory. What I literally mean is that there is an answer to this. The concept of time, it literally doesn't exist before the Big Bang. Remember, space and time are actually just one entity meshed together. We go back to section 18, we discuss our black holes and relativity, how your speed through time, or the speed at which you travel, changes your perception of how time is moving. And so, before the Big Bang happened, there literally does not exist space-time. So, there is no answer to the question, what came before the Big Bang? Now, if you find that unsatisfactory, the best I can tell you is talk to a philosopher or a theologian. Now, speaking of theologians, another one that commonly gets asked of me is, does the Big Bang go against theology and religion? I can't emphasize enough how this question bothers me, because the Big Bang is not a statement about any religion or any philosophy. The Big Bang is a scientific model. It came from trying to understand the universe, and it is the best tool we have in terms of understanding the universe. Go back to that inflation model in the literal previous part that we just discussed. And we know that there are issues that we have of making the Big Bang work with exactly the observations we see. And so we have these questions of, do we have enough evidence to support the inflationary model? Is there aspects of the Big Bang that we don't understand? Absolutely. But it is what has occurred because we have the evidence to support a Big Bang. The individual details, we're still learning, because that's the fun part about science, learning what we don't understand. This idea of, it's against theologian, it's science trying to replace religion, these are personal statements. These are up to your interpretations. I'm going to just leave it at, the Big Bang is this scientific model, and it is the best model we have right now for understanding the universe. Another question I often get is, will the universe go bang again? Will there be a second Big Bang or a third Big Bang, and so on and so forth? And I won't delve too deep into this. I will tell you, look into ideas like the multiverse theories, or another one that's related, universal evolution. And I'm going to put a disclaimer out there that these could be called hypotheses, but at the very best, they are untestable ideas. This is more philosophy, trying to say, will there be another Big Bang? Because the ability to measure, observe that, doesn't really exist. Maybe people have predicted some types of measurements, but they're outside the realm of our abilities to measure now. So if you're interested in these things, there's lots of material that I'll happily guide you to, but with the caveat that they fall into this borderline region of, is it science? Well, it's not testable, but it is a scientific inquiry, so it's more philosophy trying to explore this stuff. Now I'll end this on a conundrum about the universe. This is a conundrum that plagues me every day. We know the universe is expanding, and it is growing in size. And to the best of our knowledge, it will continue expanding forever. So, if we were going to the far, far future, the universe will expand so much that distant galaxies will literally be unobservable. The light from those galaxies will be redshifted so much, they'll be so far away that the light cannot reach us. We will not be able to detect those galaxies. So imagine you're a civilization. You live in this far-flung future. You look at the cosmos, and you see the Milky Way. You see some of the nearby galaxies. I guess at this point, Milky Way would actually be a part of Andromeda. It'd be one super galaxy. But you'll still have basically the local cluster. But then any of the other galaxies out there, they'll be so far away that the light from them could never reach us. So there will be a civilization in this far, far future that will say the entire universe is just this local cluster of galaxies. That's it. Because the evidence of all the millions and billions of other galaxies out there will be so far away that the laws of the universe literally prevent us from seeing them. So there'll be a civilization that says the universe is just this local part, and there's nothing else to it, because the evidence of those further away galaxies will never reach them. Imagine what knowledge about the universe is forever lost to us. Imagine what we can never know because the laws of physics, the laws of nature, have erased that evidence from us forever. So I'll end that on that note, on this somber note, and see you all next time.